Savage Gear has always been super exciting brand with cool lures, cool concept, crazy names, crazy gear.
So let's put her out there. Yeah, that's the big one. That's the big one.
In 1975, a 6-year-old boy caught a perch that would change his life fundamentally. Mads Grosell had only just touched the world of predator fishing when he started getting ideas to change the lures in a more efficient way. And that started a journey that he would never have thought possible. A journey into a savage world.
Yeah, I guess I must have been 5 or 6 when I got totally fascinated by the underwater world. Basically, everything evolved around fishing. There was this little photo shop, this little shop in this village where they sold equipment for cameras. And he also had a passion for fishing. So he had a little selection of fishing tackle in his shop. And I still remember that, you know, I would spend any allowance or any little kind of money I could get. I would bicycle down there and buy spinners and wobblers and jerk baits, whatnot. And I couldn't wait to get back there, actually, to get some more fishing tackle. Up through the teenage years, it was actually match fishing or competition fishing that was the big thing for me. It's a quite technical sport, and that led into the carp fishing. And at that time, in the late 80s, carp fishing was the hottest thing ever, and still one of these emerging sports. So I spent all my awake time thinking about this carp fishing and got into all this with the bait and the rig making and all of these small details that would make you catch those bigger carp. So I spent 3 or 4 years just chasing everything that I could within carp fishing. And that basically led to the first brand that I started. It was called Danish Delight. And that turned into what was then DD Bait. And in that company, we actually also started our first predator range with all the little bits and pieces to make rigs for predator fishing. See him? Definitely. Definitely the wave. He's coming right after it. Come on. This is going to be interesting. I'm just going to turn the engine off. Oh, I'm not. Ja. Kom til at trykke på den forkerte. Shit. Øj, der flyttede den sig. Den var stor. Den var stor. Fanden så, mand. Der kom jeg til at Nå, det er der ikke noget at gøre ved.
Die waren auch vom Auftreten halt anders. Also die ganze Brand wirkte einfach nur wild. Die wirkte neu, die wirkte frisch, die wirkte innovativ.
And yes! Oh no! Let's go! Hey man! Yes! Who's the best today, Matt?
I think Luma.
I think so.
He's on the cannibal.
But I'm gonna get back at him. Et ça a été un tournage d'abord complètement dingue. On avait fait, je crois, genre 200 brochets en 3 jours, dont 6 mètres, enfin bon, des images folles. Donc on peut dire que j'étais là quand même dès le début de l'aventure, et c'était il y a maintenant, il y a presque 20 ans, donc c'était parmi les toutes premières actions de Savage Gear en France. Ouais.
I had a civil job, right? I wasn't able to make a living from fishing till I was mid-30s. As you know, before Savage Gear, it was carp fishing and Danish Delight, what then became DD Baits. And at that time, it was we could make money, but to make a full living out of carp fishing in Denmark was basically impossible. So I had a good solid job in the airline industry and made a living for the family. And it wasn't until I got laid off in, I think it was 2003, that I realized that, I could apply for another job or wait till the airline industry kind of came back a little bit. Or I could try to go full time with fishing. And it just, at that point, it just felt so natural. But it was, of course, almost an anxiety attack. We had 2 small children, just bought a house, and, to take that step. And there wasn't really any financial support whatsoever. I have to remind myself every morning that this is actually real. Working with Savage Gear for 20 years now, I had no idea that this was what I was going to be doing for that many years. And I feel very fortunate.
I know where the big one lives, and I'm going to serve him a snack.
Actually, we made what we call Frankensteining. The first lure I made was the rattle shad, which was a little bit like a paddle tail soft lure. That basically what I realized very fast was that the falling action of those soft lures at the time was not good enough. They would fall in a spiral. They were not, they didn't have that perfect swimming action on the drop. So the first lure I made was a total Frankenstein, where I kind of built the lures together. And it was actually on my first China trip that I worked with this little tiny factory that I actually found on the internet. That was before, things were very accessible. Yeah, you can say at that time pike fishing was, what was really hot, and the area in predator fishing where the most innovation and the most new products would come up, especially from Sweden at that time. And at that time, we also had a lot of brackish water in Denmark, where the pike fishing was just phenomenal. And that's when you got into the gliders and what we call jerk baits. And that's when we started building all these hard lures, like the Freestyler and the Deviator, and of course the famous foreplay. So the foreplay was like the first hard swim bait that really was so easy to fish and was so effective on the market at that time. So that became very, very popular fast, because a lot of people had such an easy time using it, and it was so darn effective, just like here. Just retrieve, stop. And there were so many fish caught on the foreplay, and it was just helped us build that big momentum behind the brand. There wasn't that many baits. They would say that this 19 centimeter was a really big bait, but we built a 25 centimeter that a lot of people thought was ridiculously big. And as you know, today that's one of the smaller lures in the box.
Get on the foreplay. Nice one. There's one off of the camera.
That was a great time when everything that we did was potentially changing the game, and we learned a lot by just going crazy on colors, sizes, patterns, everything. It was a very, very exciting time. Oi, fish! Right there, big one. There. Once we got into this lure making and predator fishing, everything just went really fast. All of our lures have been, made in real fishing situations. So that makes it, of course, a lot easier to get it right. To make something and then see how it works. The tuning of the prototypes, receiving the first prototype or even building the first prototype is still the fun for me. That's kind of like, well, that's my hobby. To make something crazy and make it work. It's big toys for big boys. To be totally honest with you, most fishing tackle has already been invented. If you go back and look in some of the old patent books from American stuff, there's like so many designs that have already been done. So to truly find something that was innovative and would change the game, that would mean you would have to go into finding technologies that hadn't been used before. And that's where, I guess, one of the big major milestones or pivot points for Savage Gear was when I really got into 3D scanning and really got nerdy about how to improve scans from real fish.
We just moved into something really big. Bam! That's a cow!
We just wanted to catch the bigger fish, and we realized that a lot of those big fish were on the big lakes, eating big prey fish, sitting in the temperature line looking up. So that's when we started to go a little bit crazy. 30 centimeter trout, which at that time was a ridiculous big lure. And then not long after, we did the 40 centimeter, which was even more stupid. But it really worked. Fishing with these big lures, big fish would sit there over deep water and just look up. So those were some amazing years where we experimented a lot with go big or go home. Just couldn't get it big enough, actually. And then we realized that we were onto something, and then, shortly after, we had a lot of people that wanted to try it. So we actually ended up producing a lot of these giant baits. And I guess the rest is history, because today, fishing a 40 centimeter trout, it's just like normal.
The reason I made this bait is so we can catch these babies. Oh! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Yes!
That's a fish right there.
Bam!
Pike on pike. Yeah, I would say that hysterical attention to the detail kind of became an obsession, right? That, using the 3D scanners and spending enormous amount of time getting the right prey and then actually freezing it and setting it up for scan, that became almost like an obsession, right? To get it 100% right. And I would say that today we do have some of the most realistic baits ever made. If you look at the line through roach, 3D crayfish, or line through perch, just look at some of those baits and you'll see that it's hard to make that more realistic.
I remember back in the day, a buddy of mine showcased me the 30 centimeter trout, which is mental. Look how big and realistic it is. And at the time you had custom built swim bait, which were super expensive, or you had stuff like the foreplay, which we occasionally fished. But the 30 centimeter trout was the thing that stuck to me. And that summer I caught a 1m31 on the 30 centimeter shallow version of the trout. And then we got fully hooked. The good old albino was, for many people and for me as well, the favorite.
One of the most rewarding parts is being able to help so many anglers catch more fish, have better time on the water, and just be more confident. I think you're a fly fisherman, so when you tie a fly and you go down and catch something on it, that special feeling, right? But you kind of multiply that when you have 1,000 people that wants to buy your lure, and they are successful right off the bat, and they even come back to you and show you things you didn't know about your own product and how to use it. You make mistakes, you make failures. There's a lot of trial and error, but when you get something right, then you really know you're onto something. I realized that, you know, there's no way you can be a one-man band. You need to build a team. You need to have people with the same passion and the same interest as you.
Come on.
Boom!
I remember Foreplay, which was one of the first swim bait lures on the market, and it was like a high-end Japanese lure that was available in your local store.
Und dann kam der erste Foreplay, also so ein Swim-and-Jerk-Variante, vierteiliger Wobbler in mein Leben. Ich habe damit auf einmal Fische gefangen, wo ich dachte, da sind gar keine. Und so explizit mehr als an allen anderen Stellen mit allen anderen Techniken, dass ich dann auf diese Marke aufmerksam geworden bin. Und dann ging es dann auch gleich weiter mit dem Real Eel, der geliefert hat. Und mit Soft Foreplay und was man dann alles erstmal probiert hat. So ist das mit Savage Gear mal entstanden, diese Liebe.
Erinnere ich mich noch ganz genau. Ich habe das Ding das erste Mal gefischt in Orange, Golden Ambulance, glaubt einem keiner. Und habe innerhalb von einer Stunde 1,20 Meter, 1,22 Meter, 1,24 Meter gefangen. Da war die Liebe für Savage Gear natürlich sofort da.
Mats, der halt auch als Produktmanager sehr öffentlich aufgetreten ist. Also die meisten Produktmanager, die kannte man überhaupt nicht. Also er hat halt gezeigt, dass er ein richtiger Angler ist.
Altså det du så i går, den måde jeg fisker den på, at og så du stopper. Det den kan, som de andre ikke kan, det er, at den bliver nede i strike zone. Det er derfor, de bliver ved med at komme tilbage. Hvis en avn den synker sådan her, så er den ligeglad. Hvis en avn står stille i vandet, og du laver det der, så selvom den er hugget 2 gange, så kan den simpelthen ikke lade være. Det der med, at du bliver lige i ansigtet på den, det flipper den helt ud over. There's no doubt about Savage Gear as my baby. It's been, it's been what I've been living and breathing every morning, every day for the last 20 years. Jamen, det er helt sort. Prøv lige at se, hvordan den hænger i vandet, den der. Kan du se den? Altså, den er slow float, men så forfanget gør den suspender. Kan du se det? Den er lige nede foran dig. Jeg skal prøve at vise dig. Nu har du set den anden foreplay, ikke? Prøv at se, hvordan den her den bevæger sig helt anderledes. Og så prøv at se, hvad den gør, når jeg stopper. Så du, den skiftede farve? Den gik fra grøn til lilla. Det er kraftigt med bladre, det her. Er det på engelsk eller på dansk?
Det er på engelsk.
Hey guys. 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, for me, it's still so exciting just to get out and try different techniques. And even though I fished now for, I guess, pretty much 50 years, there's still so much to learn. I still enjoy every minute of it. So no matter what we're just filming or we're testing prototypes or testing a new water or whatever, I can't wait to get out there. So I just love it. It's still the same after all these years. I caught my fish 50 years ago, my first fish 50 years ago, and it's still, I can just spend hours and hours fishing. Just imitating naive perch or sick perch that has, for some reason, is not in its school. It's out in the solitary. object to a brutal attack. That's the perch shad right there. Yes, on the big one. Right on the cannonball. Boom, bam, right on the foreplay. Bam, right there. Bam.
You used to say bam.
Yeah, I think my bam days are over.
Ready. Release it.
Bye-bye. Woo! Look at the colors on that fish. Woo! It's still the same fun, you know, even though you caught thousands and thousands of pike, you still get excited when you see one of these big green machines come out of nowhere and grab your swim bait. Big fish. Yep. I pinch my arm every morning because is this really true? Am I having another day working in this industry, you know, where I have to go fishing?
Wow, power. Yeah, easy on it. That is a big one.
That was the one I lost last night.
Exact same space, dude. Oh!
There was my figure eight, and there was my...
Well, that's a good one.
Thank you so much. Wow, boys! It's great to be able to travel and fish with fellow fishermen around the world. I do enjoy fishing with Sam and Danny, our American colleagues, fishing for muskie or big tarpon or big snook. Fishing those big snook is also really incredible. When I spend a lot of time in Asia, that's where most of our production is, I get the chance to fish for some of those warm water species there, like the snakehead, big barramundi. I'll tell you what, that's really fun too. And that inspiration that you got, all this global influence from different areas of the world is part of the Savage power. And it's definitely not a one-man band. There's none of all this stuff that could have been done without that family of really excited and good fishermen that help us.
Yeah! Woo! Big one! Oh!
One of the strengths that we had was the time that we were in, where in the mid 2000s that social media was something new. It was a new way to communicate with the fishermen. And we were one of the first brands that really homed in and really did a big effort to get in on YouTube. Of the jig head here, as you can see, so that open mouth will try to eat that lead head ball. So it's just a perfect match, and it doesn't pick up a lot of debris. Has a great swimming action and looks great in the water. And Facebook came and Instagram, and then the rest is basically just history. So it just made this platform for us where we could talk to the fishermen there, where we could inspire them. And one of the things that for me was something that I wanted to show was the topwater fishing for pike. When I was a kid, I once saw a little duckling getting eaten by a pike, and I'll never forget that moment. And that, I guess that scene led to the idea with the suicide duck that has become one of the iconic staple lures of Savage Gear. And after that, the little water rat, the 3D rat, and of course we had to do a snake bait. So that era of Savage Gear where we really homed in on this topwater fishing for pike, which is extremely effective at times. There's days where they're so dialed in on the little ducklings or on a rat, where these baits can really make a huge difference. And I'll tell you what, it's so much fun.
You filmed the worst accident we ever had fishing with through my underarm. You remember that?
Yeah.
You almost got sick.
You always say that.
You were so pale.
I wasn't pale.
This pike fishing here. Det var noget rigtig lort, jeg fik lavet der. Ja, meget dybt. Jeg har lige brug for en lille smule hjælp herovre. Den sidder dybt, kammerat. Lige kom herop foran, så skal vi lige have geden af først.
So, but when you're not home that much, and so who's taking care of the development of the?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Well, as you know, we have our new European brand manager. We have Hugo Hedgeman, fantastic young angler, super innovative, great product developer. So it's really great to have Hugo to work with him on all the pike, perch, and zander products, where he's super knowledgeable and has that energy and will to put in the extra hours and go the extra mile to make sure that what we bring is next level. So overall, I would say with the team we have, we're just going to go and put even more power behind the pike, perch, and zander fishing.
Every year we come up with something that has a little bit of a magical change, right? Can be in the way that you paint your lures, or it can be in the way that you rig your lures. Can be new materials, and this is a never-ending game. We have to innovate. We have to bring new stuff to the market all the time, and we have to improve. And that's why I really like to revisit some of the old products, like the 4Play Classic, to be able to bring it back to life with these incredible photo print colors here.
How do you see Savage Gear the next 20 years?
Well, I think that, what I hope is that the legacy of Savage Gear will survive and grow, and that we're able to help the new young generation of anglers. We have made a group it's a hashtag called Savage Future, where we help these young anglers to get more of their lure fishing. And it's just so rewarding to see this next generation be as excited as we were when we were teenagers. And everything that we did was about fishing, basically.
You know the one about the last cast? Oh, let's just take the last cast, and then you end up taking 50 more, and you come home late for dinner, you miss an appointment, it's still the same.
Guys, this fall 20 years anniversary for Savage Gear, and we're bringing back the 4-play.
Hey guys, hey guys. All right guys, hey guys, hey guys, hey guys.
New Deviator tail.
It's the new Herring Jet V2.
This is the brand new Savage Gear SG8.
For the first time.
Yep. It's a small fish. Oh, he's right on it. Yep. Ooh, lost it. That's crazy. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
You saw that cast over that branch on the fall, boom,